You're watching NewsdayTV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. The Trump administration is trying to pull the plug on congestion pricing. The U.S. Transportation Secretary just rescinded federal approval of the program. It launched last month and charges drivers an extra $9 to enter Manhattan below 60th Street. In a few moments, transportation reporter Alfonso Castillo will explain how the governor is responding to the move. And one of the suspects arrested in connection with the disappearance of a teen from East Patchogue has pleaded not guilty to a new drug indictment. Prosecutors accuse Ralph Knowles of selling fentanyl, heroin, and cocaine. Rebecca Browell, who lives with Knowles, is set to be arraigned Friday on drug charges. Sherry Einhorn was in court. She'll have more on the story in a few moments. And the towns of Hempstead and North Hempstead have filed a lawsuit against the FAA over jet noise. They say the Federal Aviation Administration has ignored their complaints about noise and pollution from low-flying aircraft en route to Kennedy Airport and LaGuardia.
The nuances and the problems that are now affecting the residents in these areas need to be addressed.
The FAA told Newsday it does not comment on pending or potential litigation. And SUNY Stony Brook has named a new president to lead the university. The Board of Trustees approved Andrea Goldsmith as their 7th president. Now, she was the Dean of Engineering and Applied Science at Princeton. Goldsmith starts August 1st. All right, let's take a quick look at tomorrow's weather, shall we? And you can see right here that it's going to be a cloudy one and temps will be low, just hovering in the high 20s. All right, now back to congestion pricing. The MTA and the governor are promising to head to court to keep congestion pricing running, even though the Trump administration has rescinded approval of the program. Transportation reporter Alfonso Castillo has more.
President Donald Trump is slamming the brakes on New York's congestion pricing plan. His Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, sent a letter to Governor Kathy Hochul telling her that the federal government is rescinding approval for congestion pricing, raising several issues with the MTA's plan, which he says is not a fair deal, and raising concerns about the impact to working class Americans who now have an additional financial burden to account for in their daily lives. The decision is being celebrated by opponents of congestion pricing who felt the tolls were too burdensome.
I think that what the MTA should concentrate on now is making sure that people pay their fares, that they're not fare beating in the subways, that we get revenue that way, that they have cleaner subway systems, and that they have safer subway systems.
Not surprisingly, it is being decried by supporters of congestion pricing who said that the new tolls in Manhattan were already making a big difference in speeding up travel times and also generating needed revenue for transit investments.
I don't care if you love congestion pricing or hate it. This is an attack on our sovereign identity, our independence from Washington. Our MTA was prepared. We knew this could come. Filed a lawsuit within minutes. I'm very confident we'll be successful. And I also want to say the cameras are staying on. We are keeping the cameras on.
MTA already going to court, filing paperwork to keep the tolls in place. For now, we will see how this all plays out. In Mineola, for NewsdayTV, I'm Alfonso Castillo.
And a defendant allegedly involved in the disappearance of an East Patchogue teenager was indicted on separate drug charges. NewsdayTV's Sherry Einhorn reports.
Here outside criminal court in Riverhead, today more than a dozen new charges against one of the 12 defendants allegedly involved in the case of a missing teen from Patchogue. 63-year-old Ralph Knowles pleaded not guilty to 14 drug charges, including multiple counts of criminal sale of a controlled substance. Prosecutors say he and co-defendant Rebecca Browell, who is expected to answer to the drug charges another day, sold large quantities of fentanyl and heroin on 4 separate occasions. In court today, we learned that investigators executing a search warrant discovered heroin, fentanyl, cocaine, digital scales, and packaging materials at a home the two shared.
The district attorney's office has a narrative for this case, and unfortunately they're putting my client into that narrative. So we look forward to putting on a defense, getting all the discovery in a very timely manner, and at the end, I believe my client will prevail as being not guilty.
As we've been reporting, the teen was missing for more than 3 weeks before being discovered on a boat in Islip. Some of the defendants in this case are facing charges of child sex trafficking, kidnapping, and rape. That's the very latest from criminal court here in Riverhead. I'm Shari Einhorn for Newsday TV.
The hot hairstyle for 2025, the bob. I'm Elisa DiStefano, and I'm not cutting my hair yet, but she is. This bob feels brand new and will bring a big change for this mother of 5.
There's a big change happening in my life. I'm about to turn 40, and I feel like I'm ready. I'm ready for a nice change. I do feel that this new textured bob is really gonna add an extra layer of fun.
I love the bob. The bob has been around for a long time. It's a classic look, but what's so exciting about it now is the modern edges you can add to it. You know, the texture that you can add to it.
Are you nervous at all?
I'm super nervous because it's definitely not easy to just throw my hair back in a pony anymore, but I do know that it is still versatile.
First, the big cut.
It's gone.
Then lots of layers to maximize movement. And a fresh blowout to add volume. What are you thinking?
Perfection.
People are ready for a change in 2025, and I think the bob is just appropriate for it.
Today we are channeling our inner athletes and learning the art of Olympic lifting.
Here at Weightlifting Workshop in Albertson, beginners will learn the technique and build the strength it takes to complete 2 movements. The clean and jerk, which is transferring weight overhead in 2 motions, and the snatch, transferring it in 1 swift movement.
And those lifts were created to be the ultimate test of strength because the idea was we're all going to lift on the same barbell, we're all going to have the same referees, we're all going to perform in front of an audience in real time, and we'll see who's really the strongest and who can lift the most.
Artie Drexler opened the place in 2019. He's been involved in the sport over 60 years as a competitor and a coach.
I hear this stuff makes you stronger. Let's find out.
I gave it a shot, but this is barely a fraction of the weight these Olympic athletes move in seconds.
The best people in the world in weightlifting are doing just about 600 pounds over their head. So think about that, 2 refrigerators, part of a car. I mean, that's an enormous amount of weight.
That's 264 pounds. What? They just stand it up like it's nothing.
Ashley Visconti was inspired to get involved after watching the Olympics.
It's just so cool because I know there's so much more I can do because I've only been here for a few months.
People who start out with mild ambitions realize, yeah, I can be pretty good at this, and they continue because they're excited about the prospect of getting better.
Before they can go for the golds, all Olympic lifters have to start somewhere.
I don't want to brag, but in my prime, I had a 265 overhead squat. I can't do that now, though. Anyway, let's take a closer look at your 7-day forecast, shall we? Like I said, it's going to be chilly tomorrow, and it's pretty much going to be mild to chilly all week. Saturday, we have a mix of snow and rain, but again, those temps aren't elevating until next week, which is a good sign.
Long Island weather is brought to you by PTRC.
Now for more on all the stories you've seen today, head over to Newsday.com. I'm Ken Buffa. Thank you so much for joining us.